and you make peace with it. And sometimes it's like you feel like it needed to happen, and like it was indeed for the best that, you know, I learned all these things from this relationship. Now I know I'm never going to let anyone treat me like that again, or I'm never going to go, you know, do ketamine after I get broken up with, because that shit's a core memory and not a good one. Like,
you haven't done ketamine since, so.
Right, like we can laugh about it now, but at the time, like that was very dark.
Bitch, what I was trying to say is this situation got me so wet and so dry at the same time. Exactly.
Hey guys, welcome to So Wet, So Dry. I'm Fiji.
I'm Autumn.
And we're wet, we're dry, and everything in between. We are obviously remote today. This is an interesting episode because it's our first episode recording since the podcast has been out. Yeah, right? It's been a minute since we've recorded, so we feel a little out of it. I'm in a new location. I have my dog on my lap doing the most. It's a lot going on. So
he looks really cute, though.
Yeah. Anyway, Autumn, what's got you so wet right now?
Yeah. Well, I've never done I've never done a tarot card reading before. Like I've never paid someone to, like, you know, read my cards and like have a spiritual conversation with me. And I just saw this woman like post a video, and I felt really like, oh, I should reach out to her. Like I just felt like I should. And so I did a reading with her. Her name is Quinlan Kennedy. Okay. And her Instagram is Mystic Mama Q. So just Mystic Mama Q. And she was awesome. Like she's really talented at what she does. And like we went into a lot. It was like a whole hour-long session. But basically the biggest takeaways were that I need to take a tolerance break of that good marijuana.
As she's smoking right now.
And I really want to do it. And she just said that like it will, because she knows that I'm passionate about like really, you know, maybe starting to practice more energy work and like just being more in tune with myself. And like, unfortunately, like the mindless smoking of weed every day, like just clouds me. Like I'm not really able to like connect. I feel like Mozzie is really listening to me right now. Like he's looking at me. He was.
Tune.
And so it just really spoke to me. I was like, yeah, you're right. And she was someone that was also addicted to weed. So it didn't feel very like, oh, someone's like, don't smoke weed. It's like she's been through it and she knows. And she's like, I'm not saying you should never smoke weed again. Like, I just think you should take a break. And after you take that week off or however long, like you just smoke intentionally moving forward and not mindlessly.
Right.
Because it's never like a conscious choice, like, oh, I'll smoke. Like I smoke all day. I'm never not smoking. If I'm home, there's something lit by me. Like it's just constant. So, and it's just like all the effects that weed has on you that is negative. People treat it like it's not an addictive drug, but like it totally is, especially if you smoke it the way that I do, which is just like all the time. And then the other thing was like she wanted me to connect to my inner child. She wants me to put like pictures of little me all over my room, which is like really cute. I really like that resonated with me. I was like, yeah, honestly, I'll do that. And we just talked about like my struggles with intimacy and like just we talked about a lot. But I'm wet about it because I really feel like it did inspire me to like actually, like, this woman like saw a lot of things in me that I had already thought about myself, but she just validated me in a lot of ways, and it was really nice. It felt like therapy, bro, but like it was like spiritual therapy. Like it was different. Like I was like, can same time next week? Like she was just so good. Like I really loved her, and I should reach out to her and let her know like how much she affected me. I haven't yet because I haven't like done anything that we talked about yet either. She also like, when we were talking, she like said we were talking about something completely different. She said she got a message from Spirit saying that I need to do a parasite cleanse.
Oh, interesting.
Have you ever heard of that, bitch? Like,
no, but I used to like trip out over feeling like I had parasites, not in the literal sense, but in the spiritual sense. like when I did acid and stuff like that. So I definitely
Yeah.
think that's like a real thing.
Yeah, and like she's like, "Do you eat a lot of raw fish?" And like I don't. Like I eat sushi and I eat raw fish, but like if I'm gonna like my go-to sushi is like cooked shrimp and salmon. It's not raw. But she's like, "You get parasites from eating raw fish." Like the fucking spirit was telling her I have a goddamn parasite. So she was like, "You need to do
That's
that."
weird because I think of it more in the sense of like I felt like I've had, oh my God, I have like Mozzie's hair sticking to me. I've thought about it more in the sense of like when you've been with like certain people or certain places, you have like lingering energy that kind of sticks with you
Right.
and it feels like a parasite. But that's like
Yeah.
really interesting that she was saying like a concrete, literal
Yeah, because she was saying in
parasite.
a lot of cultures, I don't remember the exact one she referenced, but like a lot of cultures will like do parasite cleanses on like kids, like starting when they're young because like they're more common than we think or whatever. But I don't know. So I'm about to go to Whole Foods and get a parasite cleanse. Like
Do
I
it.
just, you know what I mean? Like, because one of the symptoms was like excessive like tiredness. And it's like, okay, that's probably just the weed, but like maybe it's
Yeah.
that too. I don't know. And yeah, so it's just like I just want to make a lot of changes in my life. So I'm really wet that like I was like, you know, able, and it was like a really good conversation. I really liked it and I want to do it again. And it inspired me to like bring out my like animal spirit card deck that I have now, and like maybe in future episodes or later in this episode we can pull one
We
and
could
just, you
end
know,
with
let us
that.
know if you guys would want to see that too, because I think,
Yeah,
what'd you say?
we could end with that because I feel
Yeah,
like,
I think we should end with
yeah,
it
the
too.
topic that we're talking about today is kind of like a little bit deep. We're going to try to keep it lighthearted, but I feel like it would be good to leave people like on a spirit
On a
note.
note. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
perfect.
but that's really
Yeah.
good that you had such a good reading because sometimes, you know, you've had readings where I've definitely had readings where it's like, it almost makes you feel worse. So it's good that you had a really good one because now you have someone that you can definitely like go back to and get readings when you feel like you
Yeah.
need it.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of like psychics and like, you know, like tarot card readers, energy workers, like spiritualists on TikTok, and like I love them all, but for whatever reason, Quinlan, this one woman, like the video she made, I was just like, shit, like she's the real deal. Honestly, you should get one from her, babe.
Yeah.
You should.
I feel like I need one. Like I've been like out of the spirituality stuff for a little bit. But
Yeah.
like lately, like as I get more grounded, I feel like it would be helpful. I do have a friend, Rain, that reads cards too. That's really good. So I'll plug
Yeah.
her
Because I
Instagram
think we're
too.
star seeds, bro. I really do.
Yeah. I need to like
And I,
still research more what that is and look into it.
yeah.
But
No, totally. Yeah, if you guys are interested, we can talk more about that. But what are you so wet about, PG?
I am so wet about moving into my new condo. I'm in a new
Yeah.
place. It's been a trip. I feel like the month of March was like super stressful,
Yeah.
but like I've finally been able to like pause and unpack and just be like I'm really excited to be in my new place. And this is like the first place I've ever had that's been like completely my own, like by myself, like no roommates, no boyfriend, no nothing. It's mine. I
It's
own it.
huge.
Yeah, I'm like a homeowner now and I feel like I'm treating it very differently. Like I bought plants, I've been decorating, I bought this couch. It's like a mid-century couch. It's literally from the 1950s and it's so wet, so dry green. So I'm super
Yeah.
hyped about that. I got like art for the walls, like I got a desk. Like I'm really excited to like make this my new like place and to settle here for a
Yeah.
little while because I feel like the past few years it's just been like, am I gonna move? Am I gonna stay? Where am I gonna go? But like I'm just excited to be settled. So
Yeah, and I feel like a big like goal of yours too is like just like learning how to really like protect your space, and like
yeah.
this is a great opportunity for you because it's a new space, like people are not going to be in and out of that bitch
Right.
like usual.
Right. Right. Because I feel like
We're not doing that.
yeah, with my old place, like, you know, because I had lived there with my ex and like it was mine. Like I lived there alone, but I definitely, like, I was going out a lot. I had a lot of people over, like, all of that. I didn't respect the space as much, but this place, it just really feels like a fresh start. Like it's mine. Like
Yeah.
it's like my piece. And I'm obviously still gonna have like people over and everything like that.
Right,
But
of
like
course.
people that I fuck with.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I don't think I'd have like a party here. I'd have like a little,
Yeah, not yet.
little thing, but
Yeah. With the trusted people.
with the trusted people, for sure. Because,
Yeah.
like, I own this bitch. Like, if something were to, like, break or something goes wrong, like, I have to pay for it. Like,
Right.
literally, I had moved in, and they didn't check my washing machine in my inspection. So, the first time I went to use it, like, it was broken. And that cost me a plumber and a technician. That's like $500 out the fucking window. Like, I have a leaky faucet I have to fix. And it's like, these are all like good problems. Like, at the end of the day, not good problems, but like, I'm blessed to like be a homeowner, to like be in this
Right.
position. But it's still like, you know, it's just like bigger, more adult things that I have to like deal with and think of. So it's,
And you're going to get a stripper pole, right?
I have one.
Where are you going to put it?
It's like gonna go like right behind here somewhere in the
Dude.
beginning place. Yeah, I haven't set it up yet,
cannot
but
wait.
I know. I feel like that's gonna be like one of my new just like workout hobby things I'm gonna try.
That's what I'm saying. Like, when we're there, we can just do exercises.
Yeah.
Like, I have this one trick down, and I can teach it to you.
Okay, please.
And we'll start there, and
Yeah.
then we'll learn like more tricks. But yeah, because I've taken like, I think like 3 to 4 pole dancing classes, and there's a lot of like exercise you can do first. Like, you like, you just like slowly start to like, because it's so hard,
It's so
bro.
hard,
I mean,
like,
you know,
pulling
but it's just
yourself
like,
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching a lot of TikToks on just like things that you can do, like just different like pull-up things and like
right,
squats
to like
and stuff.
train those muscles
Yeah.
before you just like jump in and start trying to climb that shit. Because
Yeah.
like, it's like different muscles that we don't. Yeah,
We
but
don't
that's
use
so
that
cool,
often.
dude. I'm so jealous. Like, when I'm at that level and I have a place, I'm gonna get one. Like, I want it so bad, but like, I just can't. Like, it's just gonna fuck up the walls. And they have those ones where it's like, there's like a platform and then the pole.
Yeah,
I
that's
hate
too
those.
scary. I'm like nervous
just like,
about
it's
this one too, because it's
yeah,
like
like
the
if you
full
fall.
one. It's the full one, but like the space that I have is like the beginning space. It's enough room, but I feel like when I use it, I'm still gonna have to push furniture back and stuff, because like, I don't know, I've
Yeah.
never had a pole in my place before, so we'll see how it goes.
But people like have them in LA apartments just like in their kitchen casually.
Yeah.
Like, people will just find a way to put it in like next to their bed. I've seen this one girl, she uses her bed to get up. It's
Yeah.
like hilarious. But yeah, but that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm happy for you.
Thank you. It was definitely stressful, but now I'm finally in the point of like appreciating it. So very
Right.
what about that?
What's got me so dry? Okay. Well, I feel like just like I have depression. Like, I have like it comes and it goes, you know? And I've been feeling it a lot lately, and like, my biggest thing with depression, like the sign that I know that I'm not feeling too good, is I like sleep a lot. I mean, you know that. It's
Yeah.
like that
Yeah,
was our
same.
shit in college, but like now it's like I work remote, and sometimes like in the middle of the day, it's just like 2 p.m. I'll just like go to sleep for 3 hours. Like,
Yeah.
clocked into my job, like not good. Like, but I'll just like, and it's just like, it's just bad. Like, it's just really bad. And like, I'm just tired all the time, but like, it's not like I feel like I have depression right now. I feel like I've just been having some episodes, but I am able to like snap myself out of it and like get
Right.
ready and
Your
be here and
coping is
record.
better.
Like, yeah, like I'm okay. Like, it's just like, but sometimes I'm just like, damn, I wish I didn't feel like because it's like the world is so overwhelming. I just want to sleep. Like, I just
Yeah.
can't deal with it. So I just want to like go into my subconscious and just like dream. Like, I don't want to,
Yeah,
you know.
you don't want to deal with the outside world.
Yeah, like the external shit, the people, I just can't. So I just have to, but yeah, that's got me dry, because that hasn't been happening like as much lately, like in my like mid-20s. What the fuck are we in?
Oh
I'm
my
I'm about to
God.
be 25. You're 25.
I am 25.
Like, it's crazy. But yeah, don't want to dwell too much on that. All I have to say is like, if you're experiencing that, like if you have the like sleep depression, like you just want to sleep, I would just say like I basically always regret it. I'm never happy
Yeah.
that I did it.
Yeah.
And it would be like, it's painful to just stay awake and like sit with the feelings, but you got to just do it. Because the sleeping doesn't help. It just makes you more tired. It makes you stay up till 4 a.m. Like,
Right.
every time I do that, like I just stay up so late but But yeah. So just, obviously sometimes you got to take a nap. That's different. But I'm not really tired. Like, I'm just kind of, like, done. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
But-
feel you. I've been feeling like the same way, honestly. And I feel like for me, it was more of like a just stress thing. Like work like got like really intense. There was a lot going on and just moving. And I was just feeling so just like overwhelmed. So I definitely did the same thing. Like there was like a Monday and Tuesday where I just kind of like slept all day and was like working, but like not really. And I was just like, can't get out of bed. But it's like,
Right.
I feel like both of us have struggled with that. Like, I mean, we know like in college it was really bad. But it's just like, I was talking to my therapist about it too. And she was saying like the best thing when you want to get, like your body is telling you, your depression body is telling you like, I want to just get into bed and sleep and just avoid the world. The best thing to do at that moment is to like go make a snack or like go for a walk or like put on a podcast. Like,
But
you
it's
have
like,
to do the
fuck
opposite.
that.
Yeah. And it's like sometimes you do need to listen to your body, because I think for me, when I was going through it the past couple of weeks, it was really just like being overtired and overstressed. So I needed to like relax. Like I had gotten sick and stuff, but it's so hard because it's like you can give yourself like one day of like depression sleeping, but like it's so hard to get out of the cycle once you start. So like if
Right.
you can stop it as soon as possible, like
I know.
it's better.
Yeah, exactly. The cycle is real. It's
Yeah.
like once you do it, yeah, for real. That shit just creeps up on you. And then it's like you have to try double hard not to do it because
Yeah.
your body's like conditioned to be like, well, this is what we do when we feel like this.
Right. It's
So-
habit.
Bro, but like honestly, okay, I'll say this. One thing I did to take myself out of it is like after I got that tarot card reading, like I like set up a whole vibe on my floor with candles and shit and like shut the door. And I like talked to like my spirit guides and like prayed and stuff, and like that felt really good.
Yeah.
Like, dude, it feels weird at first, but like people are really listening. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like sometimes you really need to just like pray or like connect to like a higher spirit or just be like, you're
Right.
not alone in this.
Exactly. Like exactly.
Yeah.
And like everything's happening for a reason, like all that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, what are you in addition to, that, because we've both been like going
Yeah.
through it, but what else are you so dry about?
I'm
what a lovely
definitely,
feeling.
yeah, being dry is not great, but it happens. I'm definitely so dry about my dating life, and I feel like it's like partly what's out there and the other part of it is just me. Like I've been like in this depression on and off, all these changes in my life. I'm just realizing a lot about like what I really want and what I don't want, and like returning to bad habits and then like trying to change them and be like, no, this is not good. So I don't know, like I keep going on and off with dating apps. I go on and off with like entertaining people. Like when I go out, like I'll like make out with someone and then just like ghost them. Like I've just been like all over the place. Like one day I'm like, oh, I want to just be single and be alone, and then the other day I'll be like, oh, like, no, I want to talk to someone. But I don't know. I do have kind of a funny story with like, because I haven't had sex since January, like beginning of January. Yeah. No, one after that. I had sex like a week later with someone else. That was just like a bad experience. I'll talk about that in a different episode. But so I've been celibate for almost 3 months, 3 months.
Fuck yeah, bitch.
Right. So good on that. But then I did go on a couple dates. And so one date I went on, this guy messaged me on Instagram, and I'm assuming he had found me off of Hinge, but like I never check my Hinge, so whatever. And like he had a lot of followers, so maybe this is my fault for just like feeding into like clout. I was like, oh, he has like a lot of followers, it seems legit. And like he didn't have many like feed posts like on his actual page. It was just like highlights, so I couldn't really tell what his like engagement was. Yeah. So in his pictures, he looked cute though. So I was like, okay, like, and it was honestly like I was going through it that day. Like it was when my condo was still closing. I wasn't sure. Like there was a thing that had happened and I wasn't sure if it was going to close or not. So I was on one of those like manic emotional moments where you're just like, I need to go out and I need to do something. Like it was like a Tuesday. So he asked me to go to the movies and I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go. So he picked me up. Bro, like he looked nothing like his pictures, first of all. So like I get in the car and I'm like, fuck. Like it was like maybe those pictures were him, but it was like 2-3 years ago probably. Like, okay, cool, we're here. And the conversation was just like, like he was just like mansplaining like marketing to me. I'm like, okay, like I do
my
this.
God.
Like, you know, like shut the fuck up. And like we were going to go see Creed, which I was going to go see with my job like in 2 days. So like I was already just like not making right decisions. So we get to the movie theater and he was like afraid of the escalator, bro. Like, I shit you not. Like, I thought he was kidding. Like, I thought he was like playing around, and he was like, "Oh my god, like, I'm like,
Playing around.
like dead ass." Like, I was like, "Oh, like he's just trying to be funny," but he was like dead ass, like afraid of the escalator. And I was like, "I'm not trying to be like a bitch, because like everybody has like their fears, you know. People are afraid of heights, people are afraid of spiders, whatnot, whatever." But he was dead ass afraid, so he's like hyperventilating, and I'm like, "Okay, like why would you take me here knowing you're afraid of the escalator? Because like this just
Going up or down?
Going up."
Okay, see, that makes no sense. The down one's a little bit scary, but the up one?
But would you willingly go on a date with someone knowing that you're like, I was like he was like, and I'm like, dude, like, should I don't know. I was like laughing too, because like I laugh sometimes in uncomfortable situations. I like didn't really, whatever. So we get up there's 2 escalators. So we get up the first one, and I'm like, do you want to take the elevator? And he was like, yeah, let's take the elevator. So we get in the elevator, but the fucking elevator has windows on one side. Like, you can see out, and he's afraid of that too. So he's scared. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I'm already like not attracted to him. Like, the conversation's irking me, and like now I'm like trying to comfort him through his fears. Like, this is just not it. So we get the movie tickets. Okay, it just keeps getting worse. We get into the movie. He wants to sit in the front row. I'm like, what type of psychopath behavior is this? Like, I don't want to be like this the whole fucking movie. Whatever. And he was like, do you care if we don't get popcorn? Okay, fine, bro. Just say you're broke. Anyway. So,
do you care if we don't get popcorn? Like, you could have got popcorn for you, like, right. Also.
You could have just, like, got it for me. Like, or just at least, like, we're already at the movies is a weird first date, but whatever. So we're sitting in the first row. I shit you not, within, like, 2 minutes of us sitting down, he goes, do you want to cuddle? I was like.
In the front row?
Yeah. I was like the lights are like still up, kind of like it's like the commercials before the commercials, and I was like, bro, chill. Like I was just like kind of trying to play it off like I was joking, but I was like, what the fuck? So I moved like all the way to the other side of the seat, and I'm sitting there like this and I'm just thinking in my head, like, how can I leave? Like, how can I get out of this? So I'm just like, the whole time I'm like, I don't want to be here. Like, why am I here? This movie's about to be 2.5 hours. Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm in the front. If I get up, everyone's going to see me. Like, what do I tell him? Da-da-da. So like, I'm thinking this through the whole commercials. And then it gets to the start in the movie, and I'm like, fuck, bitch. Like, you should have left during the commercials. Like, this is like whatever. So the movie starts, it's like a scene in, and I was just like, I can't take it anymore. So I was like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and I like get up and I go, and like when I was getting up to go to the bathroom, people were literally like mad at me. They were like, who gets up at the first scene? I'm like, okay. So I go to the bathroom and I run out that bitch. Like I was like trying to run. I called
and you
Sean.
Light up a cigarette immediately.
Yeah. I get outside. I call Sean. My Uber's like 12 minutes away, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, what if he comes like looking for me? Like whatever. And then pretty much like I talked to Sean. I get in the Uber. Okay. Like I told the Uber about it, and he was like, you should really text him. Like you should let him know like you at least left, because he did text me and he was like, are you okay? And then he unsent the message. And so I ended up texting him, and I was like, look, like I just didn't feel any chemistry. Like I didn't want to waste our time. I honestly, like, I should have done something like earlier, but I was still like, I was proud of myself for leaving, because the old me would have sat through it and then just been mad at myself later.
100% the old you would have sat through that.
Like 100%. But
and then went to his place after.
Yeah, like it was so not worth it. And I went home, I chilled with my dog, I watched the movie, like I was happy. Like he was kind of a little bit of a dick about me like leaving. But then he texted me a couple days later. I like unfollowed him and stuff too. So he'll be okay. He will be fine.
Bro.
But yeah, it was just that I was like, this is just a fucking sign.
Wait, sorry, I just fucked up. Sorry.
You're good.
There we go.
I was like, this is just a fucking sign that like I shouldn't be going on dates with people. And I shouldn't be going on dates with people when I'm just like stressed and emotional and I feel like I should be like doing something, you know?
Yeah,
like
it
it was
needs
a
to be more
bad decision.
intentional.
Yeah. It was just a bad decision from jump. So I'm very dry about just dating in general and I'm okay with that, you know? So
Yeah,
it's
but
like
it
a
could
dry
have been
thing.
good though. Like it could have been good. I don't think you should regret going on it. And it's like, what are you gonna say? Like it's like, yeah, you could have done it before, but it's like, what, you like turn to him in the middle of the movie, like, yo, I'm not feeling this. Like I'm gonna
Right.
head out. But it's like that's like the goal. Like one day you'll be able to do that.
Yeah.
But like for you, it's like either sitting through that painfully or just like getting the fuck out. So it's like you gotta be selfish sometimes. And also,
Right.
this dude should have known that shit was coming and the way he was acting. Are you kidding me?
Right. I
No
was like, are we
popcorn.
12?
He can't even go up the fucking what, bro? Like
It
cannot.
was so weird. Like I was just like, this is like a lot going on.
That's dry as fuck though, for sure.
Yeah, I was very, very dry about it. I was like,
What was
the
his
fuck
name?
did I just go
Just
through?
kidding. I can't swear.
No, yeah, I won't dox him.
What's his at?
I don't even remember. I unfollowed him. I was like, it was a blimp in my timeline. You gave me a funny story and goodbye.
Right, exactly.
I literally don't even remember his name, actually, now that you say that.
Yeah. Fuck it, dude.
Yeah. Fuck it. But yeah, that kind of brings us into today's topic, which is related. It's how to get over a breakup. So, full transparency, this episode is kind of difficult. And we were going to do it sober because we think we just sound better and smarter when we're sober after going through the editing process. But yeah, we not quite. We're gonna get a little tipsy because these are hard things for your girls to talk about.
Nah, it really is though.
But that's life.
Yeah, and we felt inspired to do it because we really do want to like cater our show to you guys and try to give you guys advice and talk about things that are relatable as possible, and that's really what we strive to do. And I just feel like breakups suck really bad, and if there's one thing we can all relate on, it's probably going through one of those.
Yeah.
Breakups suck, and they're all different, and we know that they're all, circumstantial. There's not one go-to way on how to handle a breakup. It depends. We're going to kind of talk about, the first one is always the hardest, without a doubt.
Always.
We can both agree on
that
our first breakups were definitely, one for the books. I've been in 4 serious relationships now, and Fiji's been in 3.
Yeah.
I've dated 3 girls and 1 guy, and Fiji's dated all dudes. And we're both bi queens, bitch. So, and yeah, we've both been left before, and we've both broken up with someone before. But we have more experience, like, being left, because it is very different, like, being broken up with versus doing the breaking up. Like,
right.
I used to think, like, oh, it's so much easier to be the one to break up with someone. Like, it's so much easier when you're the one that gets left. Like, it's out of your control. But it's not true. Because
it's fucking hard.
Now that I've done both, that's not true at all. It's I don't even know if it's harder. It just depends on the situation. It really does. But we are going to talk about how to heal from a breakup, the healing process, and kind of using the 7 stages of grief as like a structure, because it's it's similar. It is grief. You're not losing someone in the way that they died, but they're not in your life anymore. So sometimes if you're dramatic bitches like us, it kind of feels like they did die.
Like, you lost.
They died from
your
life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like
something, and that's when
it's loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's very similar. There's healing from a breakup is never going to happen in a day. It is not a linear timeline either. You will go back and have worse days than others. And we're just, it's normal to experience the things that we're going to talk about when you're going through a breakup. And, let's just talk about it.
Yeah.
We want to be transparent with you guys, always. So we, while we're talking about these stages, we will share some examples, of things that we, have felt and done. And we also, to kind of get out too, is like what we've learned is that like if you do skip over stages in this process and try to speed up the healing process, you just end up going catapulted back right to the beginning, bitch.
Yeah.
So you got to really feel all of those stages and like lean into them because you can't avoid them. It's going to come, and like it sucks, but the easiest thing to do is really to just feel through it. And it does get better. Like the first love I have, I don't give a fuck anymore. You know what I mean?
Same.
Like she's great, love her, but like, like you do get over it. Like, so it's just like,
you move on. Yeah. But I definitely 100% second go through. That's why we're talking about all of these different stages of grief or loss or breaking up with someone, because it's really important to just pay attention to those and let yourself heal through them, because I mean we're both guilty of just trying to skip through it. And I mean, just,
for sure,
you're over it, you want to be over it, especially with like the age of like social media and other people being like involved in your life. You don't want to be like showing your soft side or showing that you're sad about something and that you don't have it all together. I feel like there's a pressure for women men too, honestly, so this applies to both men and women,
right?
But to feel like you have it all together after a breakup, to feel like you made it out, it was for the best, but it's okay to not feel that way sometimes. So that's why we're talking about this.
Feeling like you're so pathetic because you're still hanging on and all of that. Like we've felt that like really hard, and it's just like you're not though, and it's tough. But yeah, basically, do you want to like state the 7 stages of grief, and then we'll just kind of go through them?
Okay, so the 7 stages of grief are shock and denial is the first, pain and guilt, anger, bargaining, depression, the upward turn, reconstruction, working through, and acceptance and hope. So we're going to start with shock and denial. And I think this is one that happens, obviously right when the breakup happens, but it also kind of happens a little bit before the breakup, because sometimes someone will break up with you like abruptly or, out of the blue, but other times it's like you kind of know it's coming. Maybe your relationship is like on the rocks, or like something went left and you're kind of in denial about it being over, that you do need to end it. So this is kind of one of those phases that's can show up in the relationship, and then obviously when you're being broken up with or you're doing the breaking up.
Bro, I'm smiling because like low key, like this is like one of the hardest stages. Like it's like, and it's like not like you jump from like denial to acceptance, because like there's so much in between until you get to that last stage of acceptance. But when you're like in this shock and denial, like it's like all you really want to do is just accept it, and it's like you have to go through all this other shit before you can accept it. So, but yeah, I feel like the denial one is just, that one speaks to me so hard, because like I really will be like just like delusional thinking like it's not over, like they're gonna come back, or like it's gonna be fixed in a matter of weeks, like this isn't real. And it's just because like you're just not ready for it to be over.
Yeah, and this one and the next one that we'll talk about too are very like with on and off relationships, which my last relationship, and I feel like I should preface this because a lot of the examples I'm going to talk about other previous relationships that were more healthy, but my last relationship was toxic and abusive, so it makes the process like a little bit different. But in on and off relationships too, I feel like the reason that they don't work, or that you go back to this person and keep doing the same thing over and over, is because you can't get over the shock and denial phase. Like you can't get over the fact that the relationship's over, and like both of you want to like keep working through it, or the pain and guilt phase.
So you're just stuck in that.
So you're just stuck in a loop, when in reality you gotta kind of heal and deal with it on your own. So like a couple of the like symptoms to know that you're in shock and denial is when you're not ready for it to be over, when you're kind of like losing sight of everything else and just like unable to see things from like the actual perspective. Like someone else looking at your relationship could be like, dude, it's over, but you're kind of like, no, like we still love each other, there's still something there.
Yeah. And you're so zoomed in, like this is the only thing that really matters. Like you're unable to see that like life will move on without them, and like it might even be better because, you know, like at this point, like
it probably will be better.
People that like really love each other and are ready to be together do not stay stuck in that shock and denial phase. Like that's not, you know, so. But yeah, losing sight of everything else. And it's kind of that like aching feeling where your heart like physically hurts. Like that shit hurts so bad. And like, it's like you just like walk around with it like all day. Like you feel physically ill. Like, I don't know, but I definitely do. Like when I really be in love with someone and like it's over, like it's just really bad.
Yeah. Like I feel like definitely I remember my first breakup, and I want to say it gets easier with each breakup, but it doesn't because it's different. But like you always have that like physical feeling of like anxiety and just like emptiness. Like it's almost like a stomach ache, like your heart hurts. Like it's just you're thinking about like no more like seeing them, talking to them, like waking up next to them, like all of that kind of stuff. And it's just that shock of like, wait, this is my new like reality, and you're kind of in denial about like going into that phase.
Right, because you just get so wrapped up with like thinking that like this really is going to be the life for you moving forward. Like for me, like I really don't know how to like work on myself and like also be in a relationship. Like I always just prioritize the other person more.
Right.
And like I just like I get so stuck on like this is what I want, this is what our life's gonna look like, this is why we're great together. Because like, and it's like, and then when they leave you or you break up, it's like then you're just by yourself again, and it's like, who really am I? And it's such a scary feeling. And I just feel like that's why it's like I don't think I can be in a relationship right now, because who like me alone without this person that I'm in love with, like that's terrifying to me, and it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, because you have to rebuild your identity and like come to terms with who really are you.
Yeah, because you're not going to be a good partner if you don't do that. And then it's just the spiraling, like what we're saying, like just like nothing else is ever going to be good. And yeah, like I feel like during this stage, like when I have had like breakups, like specifically with like some relationships I'm thinking about, like I'll try to like go text them and like stir some shit up, like either be flirty, like nothing happened, or just be like, just try to be like, I don't know, just get really drunk and text them some crazy shit. Like, it's just because when you just go back, it's like you're still in the denial phase because you're still going back. If you're not in that phase anymore, like, you know that going back to them is like not, you know, that's not going to help you.
Yeah.
It's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
So basically, I was dating this woman and person, I don't know. And I think they might be non-binary now. Okay. I think they might be, but I don't know. That's why I said that. I'm sorry. So yeah, I was dating this person, and they lived in New York. So like I was in Boston, like going to classes and stuff. Like I didn't get to, this was a breakup over the phone, and basically she just called me and was just like, you're not happy, I can't keep doing this to you anymore, because I wasn't. We were in an open relationship, and it was just really hard for me. Like I keep trying to do the open thing, y'all, but I can't. So maybe like a really like one night stands every once in a while, but like the open relationships I've been in were just way too much openness for me. Yeah. So she could tell that I was unhappy. She broke up with me. Now, thank you so much. Looking back, I'm like so grateful that she did that. But when she did it, I kid you not, you guys, like I remember I was like, we went to school in like downtown Boston, like kind of like a rich area, low key. I was like outside of like this like 5-star hotel, and I was like walking on the phone, and I just like, she hung up, and like the conversation was over. Like I knew she was not going to talk to me again, because she was very much the type like, cut it off, that's it. So I just started sobbing. I made my way to the floor. I was on the concrete sidewalk. Like, I can feel it. I was laying down. People were coming up to me like, what's wrong? And I would just say, I lost someone. Like, and they thought, like, I just found out news that, like, someone died. Like, that's how I made it sound like, because at that point I was like, I honestly don't mind if they think that, because that's how fucking painful I feel right now. So I don't even care. And I somehow just, like, made myself to the bench. Like, I think the security guard walked me over and was like, just take a seat. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, I don't know. But then, yeah, I met up with all of you guys. But I was just, yeah. But it's very much like I didn't know what my life was going to be like without her. And I was terrified. Like, I just didn't want to be alone. It's like, looking back, it wasn't even as much about her as I made it seem like it was. Yeah. Like, yes, I was really in love with her, but I was more just, like, scared. Like, I don't have her anymore. I don't have anyone. Like, friends, family, bullshit. Like, I don't have anyone that loves me. So, like, therefore, I'm sad.
Yeah, because it's, like, this break in your reality where you're just, like, you're used to, like, calling this person, seeing this person, going to trips to New York to see this person, and then all of a sudden it's, like, over in that moment, and, like, I don't know, it's just like a very physical pain, so it does really feel like a loss. Like, again, like, it's very different than, like, losing someone dying, but, like, I don't know, like, I remember you going through that and just, like, just feeling so bad for you, because it's, like, everyone can honestly relate. I mean, people go through things differently, and some people might, like, push their feelings down and not, like, feel them that, like, outwardly, or, like, show it, or, like, even, like, let themselves get to that point of pain, but, like, I think most people do feel that just, like, physical, like, shock of, like, oh my God, like, I have this, like, gaping hole in my life. And
she was my first love.
Yeah,
like, I had never loved anyone like her before. Like, I, of course, had, like, high school relationships, which, like, don't even count, because who even was I back then? I don't know. Like, who was she? That seems like someone else. But, like, I basically, like, she was the first one where I was just like, yeah. Like, my heart was on fire. We said I love you after a week. Like, it was very typical, like, lesbian love story. But, yeah, so that was crazy. And then, and then you have a story you want to share, too, about this.
Yeah, so I have a story about shock. I mean, I've definitely gone through, like I said, like, feelings like that for sure as well. Yeah. But my, like, more dramatic one is more of a time, like, I broke up with another person. And this is my ex. So, like, just, like, a brief background. We met when I was studying abroad in London. And we made the decision to stay together when I came back to America, which, you know, when you're in college, just seems like a grand fucking idea. So he came to stay with me in America for, like, a month. And it just, like, it wasn't working. Like, I'll get into details of it in, like, other episodes when it's, like, more applicable. But, like, pretty much I just needed to break up with him. And, like, he needed to go back to London. And so,
because he was there for, like, a month.
He was there for a
like,
month.
A really long time.
And he had to extend. No, so I think I was breaking up with him and cutting the trip short, or we were fighting or something, and he, like, extended his flight or, like, some shit. And I broke up with him, and I was like, no, like, you need to leave, kind of thing. And I still definitely loved him, but I was, like, in my rational mind, like, I was going back to school. It didn't make any sense. Like, it was just the right thing to do. But he was more in, like, the shock and denial phase than I was, and he, like, ended up proposing to me and was like, no, like, we could make it work, like, da-da-da. And, like, in my, like, Fiji love, a little bit of toxicity, whatever, I was kind of like, damn, okay, like, let's, like, he really loves me. But I obviously didn't accept. And like I did go through, like, the denial phase for a little bit. Like, we still texted, and, like, I think I saw him, like, I think I was pretty good about not seeing him, because I knew that he was very in the denial phase. So I think it was easier for me to be, like, the one that was like, no, like, let's stop this. But it's definitely tempting when someone is just, like, showing you, like, being like, oh my God, like, no, I want to be with you. Like, I'm going to propose to you. We're going to make this work. Like, none of it is, like, logical or, like, rational, but, like, you want to follow your heart. Yeah, you want to follow your heart, but it's also just, like, at the end of the day, if you're the person breaking up with someone and they're acting like this, the best thing that you can do is to be in your logical, rational mind, because it's really not going to work. And maybe that doesn't mean like you couldn't be with that person later on or like when it makes more sense. But like for us, it made no sense. So like I feel like I would have really just been like hurting him and myself more by being like, you know, yes, let me stay. So like sometimes, and it was just as hard. Like I definitely missed him, and it was a healing process through that breakup as well. But like I've been on both sides. So both are difficult, but I do really feel like being on the side of someone breaking up with you is the harder one. You know, but when you break up with someone else, like you do kind of have to have that responsibility of being like, even if you do love them, let me keep it, whatever. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really good at that whole responsibility part. I just think it's different. It's like when you break up with someone because like you fell out of love with them, you don't want to be with them anymore. Like that's easier.
Yeah.
But like when you break up with someone and you love them and you want to be with them, but you just know that you can't because you need to like, you know, heal yourself from other wounds that are still freaking open and shit. Like that's fucking hard as fuck.
Yeah.
Cause you're kind of like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, definitely being left hits way different. Because you have no control over it. Like, you have no control over it. And that's the shit that really triggers people. It triggers me. Like,
and that's how it ends up until I feel like if the person who broke up with the other person isn't grounded in the, like, no, we're not getting back together, that's how you end up in the on and off stuff, which is so much worse. Because, like, I was in a very, like, on and off, like, toxic, it was, like, abusive relationship. And, like, we'll get into that with the next stage of, like, pain and guilt a little bit more. And like obviously it's different, but I feel like most on and off relationships get towards a point where they are toxic, at least. Like maybe they're not abusive, but they do get toxic because you're trying to heal individually, but you're also trying to heal together, and you end up blaming each other a lot, you know? So I think like even if you want to get back together with this person or you think they really are the love of your life, like whatever, like it is good to take time to heal from at least whatever the problem of their relationship was individually before you come back. Yeah. But yeah, I think like the best thing to do in that phase is just be patient with yourself, like surround yourself with other people. Like I know that day when you went through it and you were feeling that physical pain, like we like all got together and ate lunch together, and we were just trying to be like there.
Yeah, that was
you.
so nice.
Yeah.
It was me, you, Mia, Raz, and Emma. Was she there too?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I just remember Raz being there because, oh my God, I just love, she's such a sunshine.
Yeah.
And I literally went to go get lunch with my ex who just broke up with me, their best friend who I was also friends with because, so that was awkward. And I remember I was like shitting on, because basically she left me directly for someone else. Like she was still open, but it was like I couldn't handle her having two like main partners, and I don't even think she wanted that. I think but anyways, I was just like shit, and that's what you do. You just make fun of the other girl. Yeah. But did that make me feel better? No, it didn't.
It does. But sometimes in the moment you need that time of just like being with your friends, hyping you up, of being like, you know, you are a fire ass person.
It felt good. Like else. I stopped crying as soon as we were all like there together. Yeah. Like, you guys were really there for me. Because I texted everyone I knew, and I was like, please report to Todd Day in Boston. Like, I was over it, bro.
So the next phase is pain and guilt, and they're kind of connected, like we said. Like, it's definitely still a physical feeling of pain, like that loss. You have, like, maybe an anxious, like, stomach ache, or, like, you just feel like a gaping hole, you feel like emotional pain, you're sad, maybe you're crying. You also have like memories popping up a lot, like
all the good ones, only the good ones.
But it's both, because the good ones happen and then they're gonna bring you pain, but then you're gonna have like bad ones where it's like you might feel some sort of guilt. And it's like your guilt for how you could have made the relationship better, even if it's not rational. So like say this person cheated on you and you start to think, oh, like I didn't love them enough. I didn't fuck them right.
It was me that led them.
Yeah, it's like these kind of feelings that like you feel guilty for like the relationship not working out. Or even if it wasn't something as extreme as like cheating, it could still just be like guilty, like, you know, how was your relationship so great and like what happened. Like you failed your love, you failed this person, you failed yourself, so you feel guilty about it. And then like it was all for nothing. Like what could you have done better? What could you have done to make them stay? So this is kind of that on and off relationship step as well that like you can get stuck in if you don't have like a clean breakup where you focus on healing, because when you start to feel guilty, then maybe you'll text them and you'll be like, oh, I should have done this, or like, let me make it up to you, or, you know, you want them to heal that pain, because in a way, sometimes relationships feel almost like an addiction where it's like, they're your source of like love and happiness or whatever, and like they also cause you pain.
Pour more to that,
right? They also cause you pain, so the only way to fix that like craving for love is to go back to them. So
bro, and let me tell you, like for me, like when I've been in relationships with people where I would show my toxic side and do things that were kind of, you know, not okay, but not like abusive. Like they were just a little, like maybe a little gaslighting. Yeah. And like I've had people that call me out and they're like, you can't fucking talk to me like that. And I've had relationships where people just endure that shit. They just endure it. And my toxic side is like, oh, they really love me that much. They can like see me act like that and they're still going to stay. Like that's crazy. So like, I have that like so bad. I don't even know where I was going with this, but like it's that type of stuff where it's just like that will, because then it's like, oh, here's where I was going. Because when then you think like later you're like guilty about all that, you know, toxic stuff that you did to them kind of too, like how you contributed to it. I don't know. It's just all like, and my biggest advice too is like the texting after the breakup. Like for me, like when I'm texting, like, I'm not thinking, like, I just send and you say all this shit. And then it's like an hour later, you're like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, that was my initial feeling. So it's like when you're kind of in that on and off relationship, like, just try to take as much, like, just don't talk to them. Like, it just makes it so much worse.
Most relationships, people are going to bring their baggage to the relationship and have, you know, things that you have to work through, like anxious attachment styles, like all of that. Definitely, like, with the on and off thing, like, one kind of, like, story that I was going to tell about that, and this is why I stress no with the on and off shit, is because with my like most recent ex, like it was very on and off, and like I feel like I could have cut it off like earlier, like I tried to, but like there would be these phases of like such intense pain, and then like when you have that intense pain, you want to make it feel better with something like great, and like one, like he would do crazy shit, like we would get in these terrible fights, and then like he would show up outside of my apartment and like
you would kick him out. You would kick him out and be like, don't come back.
I would kick him out, like it was over. It was so dramatic. It was like, we're done, like get your shit out, like whatever. And then like I remember there were many times like I would be getting ready to go out, because I would always want to go out when I went through a breakup, you know, to just like let loose, have fun, like whatever. With Autumn and like my friend Gigi at the time, and like he would literally like show up to my apartment, and like it was like a 3-story thing, and he would like throw rocks at my window
all the way up there,
and literally like scream my name from like outside. Like he started like rapping at one point, like
literally,
and it was like, it's one of those things where you're just like, oh, again, like the thing with my other ex proposing to me, it's just like, wow, like this person really loves me, like this person like is doing all this crazy shit that you see in like The Notebook, or like love movies. Yeah, like you're like, this is intense, like this is what love should feel like. But
it's like, no, he was a stalker. Like you told him not to come, and it's funny, and he was
drunk, like he would be, and it was him unable to deal with his feelings and being upset with me dealing with getting over the breakup in the way that I would. Like he would be like,
and Fiji would be in the bathroom like, guys, I don't know what to do. Like she'd low-key be laughing, because again, it's like that side of him doing happy. That. It would make her feel a little bit happy. Like I told him to come out. Like I told him to get out. I told him never to come back. And he's singing outside my window, like begging me to let him up again. Like that's tough. But it's like, we would be like, dude, go away. And he would just laugh like it was funny. Like, and
I like loved it at the, like, I didn't love it because the relationship was so shitty, but like you guys would be like, no, don't go back. But like to you when you're going through that and you have this like addiction to this like relationship and you're not done
Yeah.
healing either, like, and this person is coming back with all of these intense feelings, it would be like, I'd be like, you know, no, like, let it
And
back up.
it felt very much like a TV show. Like,
Yeah.
it really did.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's like we were the friends, like, trying to interject. Like,
Yeah.
he was outside acting a fool. You were just like, it was
It was a lot. And that's like the thing is like, if there's like any advice again I have for anyone is just get out of on and off relationships as soon as you can. I mean, there's always like signs and red flags for like abusive and toxic relationships. And again, there's a difference between abusive and toxic, but like most relationships, once you get to the point of like going back where you're not doing your healing or like you're using each other to heal,
yeah.
they get toxic, and then you're just dragging out the process of something you're gonna have to go through regardless.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Well, it's just like, if it's meant to be, it's gonna be.
Right.
Like, that's what's like a tough lesson. Like, if I fully believe that with my whole chest, because like if I don't believe that, then I just don't understand why, you know, bad things happen and all this shit. But it's just like, if it's meant to be, it will happen. And honestly, like, going back, it's just like making that chance go down, because you're ruining it. Like, you're just ruining it.
Yeah.
And it's just really, really bad. Yeah. So anger is more, you know, maybe you're wishing you were never in a relationship with them, like just regretting everything. Like, why the fuck did I put myself through this? Like, I should have left earlier. I should have never taken the step to move in with them. I should have never taken the step to meet their parents. Yeah. Like, it's very much the blame game, coulda, shoulda, woulda, when it's like that shit already happened.
Yep.
And it's like bargaining with the universe. Like, why did this happen? Like, why, you know, and feeling, you know, physical aggression sometimes can come in, and kind of that manic, going out a lot, crazy, like actively choosing to be unhinged and like choosing to just kind of lean into that anger. And I feel like
almost, yeah.
This
like,
stage is interesting though, because it can be like a little bit empowering to get mad, especially like if you're the type of girl. Yeah, like I feel like a lot of women will like go to like sadness first, and like sadness just feels like shit, where it's like when you finally get out of the sad and you start to feel mad, it kind of feels better, but it's still very much like you're blaming yourself, or even blaming the other person. Like, blaming them doesn't fix anything. No. That doesn't help your healing journey. Like, if you still hate that person, like, you haven't moved on. I mean, again, depending. If you can hate them if you want to, for sure. But like, in a lot of cases, it's like just accepting them for who they are, and like choosing, like, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm not even with them. Like, just don't even think you hate them, don't like them, anything. Like, they're nothing.
They're nothing. They're not in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. In some situations, right. In some situations. But yeah, the anger one's rough, but I kind of like it also.
Yeah, I like the anger. The bargaining is a little iffy, because the bargaining is like guilt, but a little different. Like, guilt is when it's like you feel bad, you feel guilty, like da-da-da. But bargaining is more like being mad at yourself, being like, I shouldn't have ever done this, or like my life would have been different if I did this. Like, you don't feel guilty like you could have fixed it. It's more like you're mad at yourself.
Yeah, and it's impossible not to be, right? Like, it's especially like, you know, when I've been in relationships with people that kind of treated me shitty, like didn't treat me that good. It's like, I get like, why, like, you should love yourself. Why would you be with someone like that? Like, that's so sad. Why did you do that to yourself? And it's just like, it's normal to feel that, but it's like, you didn't do anything to yourself. You know what I mean? Like, you just chose love. You chose to try to make something work. And unfortunately, sometimes when like abusive and toxic tendencies coming out, it's too fucking late. Like, you already love them wholeheartedly, and now you're just in this situation. But blaming yourself just never works. And it's also like, now it's over. You know, it's not like you're still in it. Like, you're out now. And it's just, it's hard. And we have some pretty bad stories about anger. I don't know. What else do you have to say?
Yeah, I feel like it's funny because I've been seeing on TikTok a lot, like, it's trending, like, the female rage scenes. And, like, that is the part that's empowering. Like, I know for me, like, we both like to go out and like, you know, just like do kind of like impulsive, like crazy shit. Cause it's just like, you're like back in your like single womanhood, which feels already like, a rebellious thing to do. Like, you know, so
Right.
it's just
Why
like,
is that?
yeah, like I know for me, like my ex like wouldn't like it when I wore like certain clothes. So like, I just want to be like a slut. Like, you feel me? Like you're on your rage slut era.
As you should, bro.
Right. And it's like, in some ways, it's really like empowering and healthy and like whatever, because you're finding yourself and you're figuring out who you are again. It's kind of that like maybe you were sad and you're getting to the phase of like, okay, now you're pissed off.
Like, yeah, and maybe you're like, how the fuck could they do that to me? Like, I'm so fucking amazing. Like, there's moments of that too. Like, they just didn't see me for the real me. Like, how,
Right.
you know, like.
Right. But it
So-
can definitely get like, if you're not careful with it and you let the anger consume you or the bargaining consume you, then I think you can become like just like more hurt. Like, this is, again, it's a healing stage that you need to like work through. And like, we kind of do have stories of just like that, like anger maybe like going like a little bit too far.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel like, yeah, like one of like an example of like going out and like choosing unhinged behavior specifically because you just got left by the love of your life. Like my first relationship, it was like 2 days later, and we had been experimenting with drugs a little bit. Like we had done some, but we chose to do this specific drug. And like I say, like Fiji was on this journey with me, you guys.
Yeah.
Like you have to understand, like I was choosing unhinged behavior and she was right there along with me. Like she was ready for it.
Because I was still kind of healing from the relationship before, but I was like a little probably further down in the healing process. But because she was going through it, I could really understand like what she was going through, and I just wasn't.
Went through it.
I wasn't in a good place in my life either, so I was
like
probably enabling.
Sure,
like,
give me an excuse to do this. Sure, bitch,
right?
Let's go. But yeah, we ended up trying the drug ketamine, and I would say like the first hit we took, it was all good. Like I think we decided to do more, and that's when it got bad. Because I just remember like we kept going back to do more.
Yeah, we did, bro. Because I feel like, yeah, like that's one of the things when you're like so angry and so emotional, and you're in those phases, you just like, you want something to numb the pain, or you want to feel like a new high. And we were with a friend who like, we were at this new like artsy underground bar.
It was like gay. There was like hot girls there. It was like a
vibe.
Cool vibe.
It was a vibe. And we were like, oh, like this is fun. Like fuck
it. Was underground. Truly, it was.
Yeah.
Like it was like underground for what Boston has to offer.
Yeah.
And we were, like it was dark. Like I remember I was wearing like I was literally just, what are those jackets called? I'm like drunk.
A blazer?
A blazer. I was wearing a blazer and fishnets, like nothing else. Like heels. Like I was looking, like I just remember this night so well. But yeah, and we were also drinking during this, obviously. Like just, ketamine is no joke. Like I don't know if y'all have done it. If you had
never done it before, it was like, I just remember going to the bathroom and like spinning. Yeah,
like it was scary. And there was this one moment where I just like went to go get Fiji, and I was like, we gotta go. Like I feel very not well. And we just went outside to call the Uber. We're like hugging each other, and we're not like bitches that like hug all the time.
No.
Like we love each other so much, and like there's certain like vibes or moods we're in, and we will hug. But like we were holding on for dear life.
We were tweaking. Like
we
know
were
when you see like people tweaking out, like from
that
drugs,
was us.
Like, that was us. We were like,
we got into the Uber.
Oh my god! Like, are we gonna make it home? Like, like where it's like you're in an Uber, you're safe, you are going home, you're fine.
We rolled in, like we rolled in,
crawling into the Uber, like help us, like
we
holding
get
on
home.
to dear life. Yeah, we get home.
Some triggering stuff happens. I don't know if I want to say this. Like, should we just say like a trigger warning?
Yeah, trigger warning.
I'm fine to talk about it. Yeah. So if you guys are listening, we're about to put a trigger warning out to anyone that, deals with self-harm. If you're watching this, we'll put a little trigger warning visual.
Yeah.
Okay. And, but yeah, so I have a lot of vices, as they say, and self-harm is not one of them. I like experimented with it a little bit, but it's not my chosen go-to. Like, or no, like in terms of cutting yourself is not my chosen go-to. Like, there's a lot of things you can do to self-harm, and that's not my go-to with cutting yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. But when we were on ketamine, like she said, felt like we were going to die. We got home, immediately got in the shower, and I think you were throwing up. Like, what were you doing?
I think I threw up, and then I think I went and laid on the bed, and I was just trying to like meditate, because that was when I was really into meditation.
Yeah, bro. Oh my God. You used to. But yeah, so I just like start like cutting my leg, but not in a way that's like, well, no, it was kind of
bad.
Yeah. Like I was just, it was about the breakup. Like I was really sad. I was on drugs. I didn't know if I was going to see the next morning. Like it felt that wild.
Yeah.
And then you just like came in and saw me like that.
Because I was like tweaking out myself, and I was kind of trying to like calm down and get into my like center, and I didn't really know what you were doing besides being in the shower. And then I just had this like, I think I like heard you crying or whatever, and I went in there, and I was like, but by then I had like kind of centered myself enough to like be able to help you. But it was really scary.
Yeah, and we ended up like going to sleep that night like on the couch, like again holding each other.
Yeah.
And I also ended up calling my ex that night being like, I'm on ketamine. I don't think I'm okay. Sent her into a panic. Like, she had her friends reach out to me to make sure I was okay, because she was like, I can't be the one to be there for you right now, but this is really scary. Like, and it's just like, it's that type of shit where it's like that breakup did not cause me to go out and do ketamine and hurt myself like that.
Right.
I was not okay. Like, it wasn't about the breakup, you know? And it's just like,
but you weren't healing, and this is why like healing and paying attention to these things is so important, because it's like, had you like, you know, maybe dealt with your feelings more, like found a better way to cope, like maybe that wouldn't have happened. Right. But like that was your way of coping at the time, is like,
and that was day 2.
Go out and get crazy. Yeah, and it was day 2. It was so fresh.
It was so fresh, and it's like. And it's just crazy. And like looking back, I'm not like, oh my gosh, like I cut myself. I was so sad. I really do like just remember it as being like I was on drugs. But like now thinking about it, like I think it really did have to do with that too. Like I was definitely just like, and I was, you know, and that's the thing. Like I was on ketamine. I couldn't feel it. Like when I was cutting, like it did not hurt like at all. I felt nothing. So it's like I was able to really fucking, you know, I don't know. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
It was really bad. And also just kind of when you go into this like aside from that night, like I've definitely like had sex with people I didn't really want to have sex with because I was like angry and like wanted to like just
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Like that, and that's why I think I'm being celibate right now, because I know that my tendency in most breakups, and healing from breakups especially, because I do believe in, to a point, you know, to get over someone, you have to get under someone else. Like I do think it's a big step to have sex with someone else after you've been having sex, especially if it's a long-term relationship and you've only been having sex with this person for like a couple years. But I definitely like have felt that, just like I'm just gonna go fuck whoever, because I don't feel anything. Like, you know, like it's just like you're, you know,
right. And even when I was there for Halloween this past time, if you guys haven't watched our Halloween vlog, go check it out. It's on our YouTube channel. But when I was there for Halloween last time, like my boyfriend at the time hadn't broken up with me yet, but I had this intuition that it was coming. That it was coming. I knew it was coming. Like we were kind of on and off at that point. Like I kept trying to leave him, but I just couldn't, because I was just like, I just couldn't. But I like felt it coming, and that's why I think I acted that way on that Halloween trip too, with just like all those random guys, because I was just like, I knew it was coming, and I was like already mad about it. Like I was already just like, but and I don't know. And I've also just like said really mean things like to my ex-boyfriend. Like I would say like from the depths of my soul, like look him straight in the eyes and be like, you are the most like pathetic fucking whore I've ever met in my life. Like you're like the only difference between you and a stripper is that they get paid and you spend money. Like that's what I used to say, and like it's like he did some shit. Like, did he deserve that? I don't know, probably, honestly, but it's just like you get so angry, and it's like calling him a pathetic whore. Like it doesn't feel like any
Good.
better.
Yeah.
You know, like it doesn't.
No,
And I've also
yeah.
Yeah.
No, same. I was going to say, like, when my ex has texted me, I've definitely, like, responded very angrily. And it's, like, the smartest thing to do is just to not answer and to
Right.
just, like, you know, deal with it yourself. Because, like, what are you, like, fighting for? What are you getting angry about? Like, it's better to just leave it. But
Yeah, so I'm saying it's like if you still hate them and feel that angry towards them, like the last stage is acceptance and hope, and that stage has nothing to do about them.
Right.
Like they're gone. You are accepted, that you're signal, and you're hopeful for the future. Like you're looking forward, where all of this is still looking back. Like you're still acting out of like what happened when you know. But it's normal. Like we've all done this shit. Everyone does this shit. It's normal. It's not like, oh, this is bad, you should have done this. It's just like this is the shit that comes up, and it's like maybe if you know people talked about it more and stuff, it's like we would be more mindful of like stuff that goes down. But it's like they don't teach you this shit, and it's just like it's on you to figure it out, like what works for you and all this stuff. But I feel like normalizing it does help. And like I've also like I made like a pottery piece for one of my ex-girlfriends before, and I like we were long distance, so I'd never got the chance to give it to her yet. And then she broke up with me, and I like immediately went into my room. Like I was at my parents' house. Like I walked down to the back. We have this like there was like this dumpster thing in a parking lot a little far away from my house, and I fucking smashed that shit. Like and it felt so
and
good.
sometimes things like that, when it's like an inanimate object that they don't care about or they don't need, like it feels really good. Like you know, like I feel like it can definitely be healing to like
and like ripping up pictures
or
that stuff,
delete photos, like just all of that. Like
it takes a while for me to get rid of like letters and like
I'm still not there yet. I'm like
I know,
but again, it's a process.
Yeah, it's a process.
It's definitely
I did rip up my ex-boyfriend's like I was his wedding date, and we had like our like name place tags, and of course I kept them because I'm like, oh my god, like our first wedding together. And I ripped those up, and it felt pretty good.
Yeah,
right in front of Sylvia, my roommate. I was like, oh, look what I found. I was cleaning. I was like I just didn't care. And but then I was cleaning, and I saw a picture of me, him, and his parents, and I wasn't able to rip that up. Like, don't want to go back to him, don't love him, but I couldn't rip up that picture yet. Like, it was still a good memory, so it's just like, but it's just weird. I don't know, getting rid of stuff is really hard for me, because part of me, like, that makes it feel like, oh, it never happened, and it's like, I'm at this stage where I don't want to pretend like it didn't happen with him. I'm just, like, very certain that, like, that was not the move. Like, I should have, that was not the relationship for me, when I really used to think that this man was going to be my husband. So it's just like, it's crazy.
No, I definitely feel that. It's funny because I was talking to my therapist about that recently, because like as I was doing this move and everything like that, like I got rid of, because me and my ex lived together, and like I got rid of all of his clothes, like all of his shoes, like all of his like physical stuff. But I kept a lot of like notes he had written me, like lyrics on paper. Like I have all of his songs still in my phone. Like I have pictures of us in my phone. Like, and I haven't been able to like, oh my God, my thing fell off. But I haven't been able to get rid of those things. And my therapist is like, you know, why? Like, why are you holding on to it? So it's like, in some, like maybe I'm not at that step yet. Like I feel like it's weird because we say these are the 7 stages in order, but I think it goes back and forth. And it's like probably because you haven't fully completed that step. Like maybe I fully haven't completed the anger
certain step. So I'm like almost there, but it's like I still can't get rid of the fucking song. Or
you're not there yet. And it's like I feel like there's gonna be like, maybe it's like I don't get rid of it, but then like I won't care about it anymore, because I definitely still go back. But I don't know, it's just hard, you know? It's all fucking hard, bro.
Yeah, and I feel like it's like, I know, it's just all hard. And it's like these specific 2 relationships we're talking about right now, like with the guy I was with in your last relationship, like we were with them for a pretty long time. And like it was my longest relationship I've ever had. I've never even
Yeah.
made it a year with someone until him. And
Yeah.
then we, made it to like over 2 years. So it's just, it hits a little bit different. But I think it's okay to hold on to some stuff. Like, I think, like, for you, it's a little bit different than for me. Because, again, like, the abuse plays into it. And it's just, like, more intense. But as long as... It's not like I'm looking at the picture. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't...
It's not like we're, like... But it's, like, it's there, though. So it's, like, sometimes you could be going through your stuff and you find it. And then it's, like, is that really good for your mind to be seeing that? Like, no. So that's why I'm like, if you want to keep stuff, maybe lock it up in your safe. I have a safe. Everyone should have a safe, and you just don't go in there or whatever. But
and it's also getting better at like dealing with these triggers. Like part of it, because I mean, with this anger bargaining stage too, also like, it has a lot to do with, oh, well, if I hadn't done this, whatever, like I felt that a lot because I moved to Atlanta with my ex and we were together 3.5 years. So it's a long time we lived together. But like, I feel like, I moved out of my place. I'm in my new place. I'm like getting out of that. But certain things like my dog, I got with him. I can't burn my dog. Like that would be ridiculous. Like there's things that like you just get better at dealing with certain triggers because like say I've never dated someone that's in like the same friend group as me, but people have that. Like people date someone who's in their same friend group.
And then they just see them.
And they see them and you can't get rid of those like constant reminders that are going to like maybe like upset you or make you angry, but like you just need to get better at dealing with them.
Right.
So I think that's definitely a thing. Like as much as you can, like get rid of their stuff. And if you want to angry burn it or whatever, that's totally cool. But certain things,
Yeah, and sometimes you just need to get it out. You need to get the chaotic behavior out. You need to go have sex with someone else. You need to just, if that's what it's going to take to make you like feel those feelings, if you can't, because it's like the next stage we're going to get into, which is depression after this. It's like, that's the after effect of all that unhinged behavior because it doesn't make you feel better. It does not make you feel better. Like, I woke up the next morning from the ketamine to, like, all of these, things on my leg, and it's just like,
and then you have to physically heal and emotionally heal from that.
Right. It's right. And then, so it's rough, but it's like, if that's what you need to do, like, that's what you need to do, and just be happy that, that's over now, and now I'm going to be depressed about it for a little bit, but now I know that doesn't make me feel better, so I'm not going to do that again.
Right.
But yeah, going into depression, we feel like this is very much like the come down of, like, going out, partying, or just doing things that, cause adrenaline, and, just feeling shitty about it afterwards, like feeling like you're ugly, like you can't get out of bed, you feel hopeless, you're sad without them, the identity crisis really kicking in, you lost a type of purpose that you were holding on to, which is like being this person's partner, and like that's just gone. And sometimes in this stage, maybe you went out and you had sex with people, you had dates with other people, and now maybe you're just like, everyone else is giving me the ick, like, I don't want anyone else. Yeah, so that can definitely happen, and so you just, like, don't even want to entertain anyone else anymore. And, like, sometimes, like we said, like, initially you'll go out and fuck shit up, and then you'll come back from it.
It's like the come down off drugs, kind of, like you were high off ecstasy, you were high off this anger, and then it's the next day, and you're depressed.
Yeah. And, like, all those, bad habits that you made, like, post-immediate breakup may come back to, like, haunt you during this stage, like, just doing the mean things you might have texted them, the mean things you might have done to yourself, just all of it kind of piling on. And like what Fiji was saying, her therapist tells her to do is like with depression, like you want to do the opposite of what your depression body is telling you to do, which is like when we talked about what we're so dry about at the beginning, like, so you want to just stay in bed during this phase, but you gotta get up, bitch. You gotta get the fuck up.
Yeah.
And remember who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
And during this stage, I feel like I do a really bad job of just like going back and looking at my ex's social media, if they have a new partner, just really, just really zooming in on that. and it just makes you feel so bad. It just does not help.
It really doesn't. And I'm so guilty of this too. Like,
Yeah,
because I
for
definitely,
real.
like, I love to go out. And I feel like when I'm with people is usually like when I'm feeling better. But like, there's stuff that comes with that, like having sex with too many people or like the wrong people or just getting too high or too drunk or whatever. But like, I definitely like, I know lately like I need to spend more like time alone. But I go into these phases, these depression eras of like, just spending too much time alone and like maybe just drinking too much wine and like listening to sad music or like listening to like his music, like my ex, just like spending too much time alone and doing bad things with your alone time, because I feel like there's a good alone time where it's like maybe you're reading, maybe you're working out, maybe you're like working on your hobbies, whatever. But like I've definitely fallen into those like depression phases. And if you're someone who already struggles with mental health issues and depression, like breakups and like when you're going through this identity crisis kind of put you in that vulnerable state of just being like more susceptible to it. So
sure.
it like you're gonna have like sometimes it is healing to like have those days where you just like watch a sad movie and cry, because I know for me especially like I try really hard not to feel my emotions. Like I really want to just like stay distracted all the time and like not confront them. So like sometimes for me it is healing to like watch a sad movie or like listen to sad music and actually like cry and feel it, like that sort of catharsis. But like that's different than just kind of sitting in it for like long periods of time and letting it consume you.
Because I feel like I'm the opposite. Like I'm okay to feel my feelings, and like I will cry too much and like sulk in it and like purposefully like listen or watch things that are gonna make me feel sad. So I feel like that's good for listeners. Like I feel like we're very much the opposite in that sense. But yeah, it's just really hard, and it's like the only thing that helps is time. Like that's it. That's fucking it. Like there's no quick fix. Like you just have to feel it, and the more you like surround yourself you know, with the people that you love, or just like try to fucking do things for yourself, like learn something, like just do something.
Working out, like that helped me, like like honestly, like I need to get back to that, because like with the move and everything I've just been so busy, I haven't been working out as much. But like things like that, like working out, like go to brunch with your friends, read a book, call a friend, like those like little things like just help you, like, you know, combat
blast
those
music,
those depression
and
feelings,
dance and clean your apartment, like
exactly, like staying busy and not getting like too sad, not like falling victim to the depression.
Totally. And then moving out of depression comes the upward turn.
Woo!
The upward turn, baby. And like, if I'm talking about like my ex-boyfriend, I think I am in the upward turn, which is pretty cool.
Which is good.
Like, I'm not fucking depressed about that bitch anymore.
Good.
And basically the upward turn is just like, you know, just like slowly, like it just happens. Like it's like all of a sudden it's like you're just kind of used to them not being there now. You do start to appreciate alone time more. You're appreciating your friends. You are, you know, having a lot of gratitude for like coming back into yourself and being nicer to yourself, and starting to feel joy again for things that are, you know, only for you and aren't because of anyone else. Like you're just doing things from yourself for you. And it's slow and you might not realize it at first. Like it kind of creeps up on you. The other stages are kind of more immediate. You know that you're angry. You know that you're guilty. You know that you're depressed. But this one's kind of like, it's new territory, and it can kind of feel weird. Like after being so sad for so long and so angry, and all of a sudden you start to kind of feel okay. Like it can almost be scary if you're really like developing those habits of like not being okay, and you're like comfortable with not being okay, and then when you start to kind of come out of it, it's like, what the fuck, bro?
No, honestly, because I feel like the upward turn really is, like you said, like something that sneaks up on you. Like it's almost like maybe like before you were just like these things would trigger you more often, or you would have moments throughout the day where you would get sad or angry, and then it's like slowly you're gonna have these days where it's like more of your day is just overall good. Like you're going 2-3 days not even thinking about it. Like and then all of a sudden it's like you're going on this upward angle. So I definitely like when you say like what phase are we in, like I kind of feel like I'm in this one and the next one, but I do think that with the upward turn there is like a self-sabotaging thing that happens. And like I feel like, you know, me and you have both like dealt with this in the past, where it's like when you've been through any sort of trauma, when you have mental health issues, there is kind of this like just like this feeling of like not worthy enough, where you do like self-sabotage even when things are moving upward. So I think it's really important to lean into that upward turn and like let it be good versus, you know,
because it becomes normal almost to like drunk text them, or to drunk text they're a bitch they used to fuck with in my case, or like it becomes normal. And like it's just like I don't think if you're fully accepting, like it's okay to not be there yet, you know, like you just gotta and it's like you still have these moments of like, damn, like I used to really love him, like I just don't anymore, like for real. And then you're like, well, maybe I do. And it's just like, it's definitely really weird. And especially if they reach out to you during this phase, because they can sense that shit, bro. I swear. They're like, oh, she's moved on. Time to rock the boat again. But I honestly feel like at this point, it's not going to affect me. Like, he has said stuff to me like, let me know when I can slide. Let me know when you want to see me. And I'm just like, bro, get out of my face. Like, what? You just want to see me, fuck me, and then go back to your fucking
And
Malibu.
that means he's probably in a different phase of like bargaining or guilt or something, or he's like self-sabotaging, you know? So it's important to recognize it in yourself and the other person, so that if they do reach out to you, it doesn't break down everything that you've already built.
Right.
But the upward turn is
hard.
definitely it's hope, but not quite, because it's like you don't really realize it. Hope comes later.
Like it's not like you're like 100% kind of good. It still stings a little bit, but you've just really realized that like you are so much better off where you are now than how you were when you were with them back in the fucking denial phase, bro. Like it's so much better than that was, and you don't want to be with them anymore. But it's haunting. Like if a relationship's that serious, like sometimes when you realize you don't love them anymore, it can almost be sad too, because you're just like, I spent all this time and energy into wanting this to work so bad, and like I did all these crazy things when they left me because I was so hurt. And then when you start to feel better, like it feels great, but it's still, it's just a weird feeling, I think.
It hits you in moments. Like I know for me, especially because I did live with my ex, it would hit me in times where it was like, I would be like making dinner and like take the dog out, and then I'd like get in bed to watch a show, and I'd be like, this is my new routine. Like, this is my new, like, I'm functioning by myself. Whereas before, I would have waited for him to get home from work and made him dinner, or like things like that, where it's like you have these like moments where it's like, obviously you're continuing to live without this person in your life, but like you haven't realized that you've made these steps. And then you'll have like this weird moment where you're like, oh my God, like it is going up a little bit, you know? But sometimes when you do realize that, you can go backwards. So,
and it's like you realize that, and then you want to text them to like, because you get kind of comfortable in the chaos too, and when it becomes peaceful and you're finally alone and maybe even okay with that, it's normal to kind of want to stir some shit up again, because you were so just used to it's the habits, like it's the habits. And I think it's like as far the more they become less frequent and like far in between each other, like you're doing a great job.
Right. Exactly. Definitely. So then the next phase, I feel like reconstruction and working through is really more of that upward turn, but it's building off of it. Like it's like a conscious choice, whether you're like, okay, I've had this upward turn and I want this upward turn to keep going, or you're like, I've had this upward turn, but I realize that there's some ways I might still self-sabotage, or I might still be not completely over this. So I'm going to make active decisions to get through this. Right. It's really like coming to that moment of like, okay, I'm going to deal with this in like the right way versus, you know, just go like get drunk.
Intentionally.
Yeah. Being very intentional.
You're choosing. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, that's why I'm like, I don't really know. I do think I am kind of in this phase because I did make a decision in the fall to get a therapist, which I think was like very just like pivotal in me getting through this. And I told her when I met with her, I was like, like the biggest thing, I have a lot of stuff I've been through in my life and like mental health, but like the biggest thing I want to focus on right now is getting through like healing from my abusive relationship. So like I do think everyone should be in therapy, whether you've been through any sort of trauma, whether you've been in an abusive relationship, a regular relationship, like it's never a wrong time, I don't think, to get into therapy.
Yeah, and I think coming from you, like I'm very much like I love therapy, like I've had great experiences, but like you've had some like experiences where you're like you didn't like your therapist and you wanted to like give up on therapy. So it's important to remember that because you were very much like you always tried, like you would try to have one, but it would just end up, but it's like the one you have now, like you put in a lot of work to find the right one and like you finally got it. So it's like real to hear you say like, oh yeah, like go to therapy. Like it's good.
Yeah, because it is a process, and like don't get discouraged because like Autumn said, like I've had 2 therapists before, one when I was in high school and one in college that were just like not right for me. They were like good people, like they weren't bad therapists. It's just like for what I needed, they couldn't really, they weren't the right fit,
It's like dating, bro.
It really is. Like you need someone who's going to like help you with what you need help with. And my therapist right now is like she's helped me a lot. So I do kind of feel like I'm in the reconstruction and working through phase. But I feel like if I didn't have a therapist, I would be sitting more in the pain phase, the guilt phase, the like, like having a therapist and having that person where it's like you're consciously making an effort to heal and get better it's intentional, and like without that, you can fall more into those phases. And maybe for some people, it's not a therapist. I do think, me personally, everyone should have therapy, but you need friends, you need people in your life that are helping you. You can't go through all of this alone. I mean, at the end of the day, you're the only person who can work through your internal emotions, but you
gotta let it out.
Yeah, it's good to bounce things off people.
Yeah, and like getting support from people, like it feels good too. Like like it's very important. I even feel like doing the podcast is like a power move because like for you, it was like it was really hard to do it because when you were living with someone else, like you couldn't just record when you wanted to. It's like you had to like see what his schedule was, if he was going to be there. So it's like even you just doing that now, I mean, that's reconstruction. Like you're fucking doing it, Now it's like, and it's the same thing of like you take Mozzie out, you make dinner for yourself. Like you don't need to think about that other person's schedule or what they're doing anymore. It's literally just you. And like when you're in that phase, it can feel so relieving. It's like, oh, like I just want to think about myself. Like I don't want to think about like with my ex-boyfriend, like he would, like I would just get so stressed. Like, is he going to ask me to hang out at 11 p.m.? Like I got to be ready. Like it was just all some like bullshit. And it's just like, when you're like in the upward turn and the reconstruction, it's like you realize like you really just got to look out for you and do you on your terms. And like that's a beautiful thing, like it really is.
Yeah. And honestly, like I do feel like I'm in that phase too, because like even the fact that I can talk about it and label it as an abusive relationship means that I've done the work and the reconstruction to get there, because there was a long time where I was still in denial that it was an abusive relationship or was toxic or like.
I remember.
Yeah, like I would be like, no, like I played equals, like, and again, that's a different type of relationship, but like I think I've done a lot of work over the past like 6 months of like getting to
and
that
that's point. Acceptance too, like accepting it for what it was, like that's what it was, and like it's okay, and like you're okay now, and like you got through it, and like but no, it's tough, like adding that whole layer, and even just like breakups when they move out, like you used to live together. I mean, that's something I've never experienced, like I can't speak to that. It's like a whole nother like that's why it's like you would have those feelings like, why did I move in with him? Now it's going to be 10 times worse. But it's like, again, the shoulda, coulda, woulda is not going to help us through anything.
Right. But definitely if you're with a partner, wait as long as you can to move in with them.
Yeah.
Personally. Appreciate your alone time for sure.
Yeah. If there's anything. Yeah. And then, acceptance and hope. I don't know if it's like we feel this about like some of our earlier partners.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we feel that.
I've
Like,
accepted all my other relationships. Like, I've been able to have conversations with them. Like, just how
right.
are
Like,
you? Like, we're not like
totally.
BFFs, but it's like, I hope you're
But it's not
good.
painful to be
Yeah.
like, oh, hi, how are you? Or just like, like, yeah, it's
Wish
just,
you the
but yeah,
best. Yeah. It's
I
like
think
chill.
it's very much like my mom always says, like, with relationships, like, they're all just like paintings that you hang up on a wall and you just leave it on that wall and like it is what it is, but like
Yeah.
that's it. Like, you hung it up and that's just, you have all these paintings throughout your life of all the
Yeah.
shit that went down. So it's just accepting, the relationship, whether if it was good or bad or ugly or really ugly. Like, it just was that, and
Yeah.
there's nothing you can do to change it. It is what it is. Not trying to sugarcoat and lie. I feel like when I try to like convince myself I'm over someone, like I'll just like sometimes you'll get into like, oh, it really wasn't that bad, and like that kind of like lying about it, like that is really gone now because
Repainting the
it's like,
picture. Yeah.
yeah, like it is what it is. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, it's over now. And you make peace with it. And sometimes it's like you feel like it needed to happen, and like
Yeah.
it was indeed for the best that, I learned all these things from this relationship. Now I know I'm never going to let anyone treat me like that
Right.
again, or I'm never going to go, do ketamine after I get broken up with, because that shit's a core memory and not a good one.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you haven't
it's
done
like,
ketamine since. So
right, like we can laugh about it now, but at the time, like that was very dark. Like, that was really dark. And yeah, and it's like maybe during this phase you're ready to like date new people. You're just fully getting to know yourself better. And yeah, it's a good phase to be in, guys. It's a good one.
It definitely is.
But then it's like, what if you're in acceptance and hope, and then this bitch texts you again and is like, baby, I'm sorry, I love you. Like, are you like immediately like it doesn't matter, it doesn't phase you? Like, nothing is like set in stone and linear, but I feel like your odds are a lot better if you made it all the way to acceptance and hope, that if they text you, you're not just going to go like running to their apartment.
Right.
Whereas if you're in anger, you probably
You
will.
probably will. You probably
So,
will. Or guilt, and yeah.
Your chances are better. You still might go. You still
might.
It depends.
And that's the thing too, because I was going to say, like, it's so important to go through all these steps, not just for healing from this breakup, but just for you as a person, and also like any future relationships you want to get into, because like the hope is like you want to love again, like you want to be in a relationship with someone, and if you just skip to acceptance and hope, which is what I feel like I did, like I tried to skip to reconstruction and working through and acceptance and hope before you deal with the other stuff, then you're gonna bring all of that stuff to your next relationship, and then it's going to manifest in your next relationship, or it's going to manifest in other areas of your life.
Yeah, and then you're going to fall really hard in love with that person and then realize you can't be with them because you fucking fucked up. Yeah, and that's the worst thing, and it's like all these stages are nothing but for you, and it really is not only about like preparing you for the next relationship, but it's just preparing you to like be a person that like knows more concretely, like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, this is what I deserve, this is what I don't deserve.
Right.
Like, you need to know those things more about you, and you can't know those things about yourself without going through the ugly relationships, the okay ones, the boring ones, the exciting ones. Like, you have to experience it to know. You're not just gonna know. Because you could experience things you never thought were possible. Like, you never thought it would be that, so it's, but, yeah, it's rough out here, guys. I'm like, fuck, finally, we made it to acceptance and hope. I feel like I can smile now because I'm just like, this shit is so depressing.
It's so much.
But I hope we did an okay job of, like, making it a little bit more lighthearted for you, like, throwing in some stories of us, like, Fiji's ex throwing rocks at the window, like, me on the sidewalk crying. Like, it's a little funny now. It is.
It really
it's a little
is.
funny now. But yeah, and I think the ultimate goal too is to forgive yourself for, just making the choice that you made to be in that relationship that you did make, and like all the things that happened, just forgiving yourself for all the angry drunk texts and calls, and like calling, your boyfriend a pathetic whore and all that shit. And yeah, you're going to eventually fill your life with new things. You're going to let time go by. And you're gonna be okay.
Yeah, you're gonna.
And
be
then
okay.
round 2, when the next person leaves you. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, honestly, that's the terrifying thing. I feel like,
Right, bro.
we're
Like,
both in our
fuck.
single eras where we're just like very focused on ourselves and our healing and our podcast.
Because we don't have any other choice but to be.
Yeah.
Like, at this point, I'm gonna crack. Like, I just feel like, because I never thought I was like a relationship girl, but I've really just been like bouncing right back and forth over these past couple of years. And it's just like, I don't even know what it's like. I don't even remember. Like, you're not going to be a good partner if you're still stuck on all these phases and like
Right.
jump into a new relationship. It's just like, don't do it.
You need to know yourself. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
100%. I'm like, I've been through 3 breakups. You've been through 4. Like, I don't think I want to do this again. I hope,
Anytime soon.
Yeah.
No, I am seriously like, I'm done.
yeah,
I'm done.
I hope if
Because
I
this
ever
shit-
get into another relationship, it's like the hope is that you're healthy enough.
I'm gonna
to
be
not
like
choose
30.
to get into one. Yeah, honestly.
I'll literally be
Older
30.
than that, bitch. We're 25 now. Like,
Oh,
don't
like,
know.
I will literally be 30 because, like, the intense emotion, and when you're, like, not fully healed or not ready for a relationship, like, the intense emotions or feeling in love, it's like a really bad feeling because you know that you're, like, it's just, like,
Yeah.
too much. Like,
Yeah.
you have to let yourself heal
Yeah.
because, like, you're not, you know. Yeah, it
You're-
just sucks when you are with the person that sucks and then someone good comes along and you're like, oh, I can't be with you, even though you're fucking way healthier than my last bitch that I fucking spent all this time with. But it's like, that's what I get. Like, you have to heal first. You can't just like be scared of being alone. Like,
Yeah, no, you need to be comfortable being alone. And it's scary, especially when you're in long-term relationships. Like, it's literally identity crisis, rebuilding. You don't want to deal with all this shit. You just want to skip past it. And you want to, that's why I feel like serial daters are really a thing, because it's just like, they're like, no, fuck that. Like, I want another person to fill this hole.
like, no, dude. Yeah, for real.
But, honestly, like, just be patient with yourself. Like, that's the biggest thing. And, like, me and Autumn are coming from a place, like, saying, like, we don't have all the answers figured out at all. Like, we're very transparent in that, like, we're still in this to a certain degree. It's
Right.
like, it's a constant learning process. But, like, like, don't beat yourself up about it, because everybody goes through it.
Yeah. Should we pull a card now, maybe?
Yeah, let's pull a card.
Okay,
for
but
some
you guys
acceptance
don't-
and hope.
I'm like scared because I don't know how to pull the cards like the tarot readers.
Just shuffle it a little bit and then pull one.
Just pull one, yeah. Don't just like do the whole like thing that they like flip and it like jumps out.
Yeah, no, you could just like
'Cause I
shuffle it a little, or just
Yeah, okay.
split the deck.
Just,
and
like,
pull
feel it,
one.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You need to learn how to shuffle.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm a beginner, okay?
Okay.
I need to like really feel it though.
Okay, feel it. I'm sending my energy to you.
Okay. Got it. We're just gonna pull one, which I
Just
never
one.
just pull one.
I know,
but
because
that's
you
what
want to
we're-
just keep going. You're like, this isn't the right answer.
Okay, we got the Stingray card.
Okay.
This is my animal spirit guidebook.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna look up what the stingray
Rest
is.
in peace, Steve Irwin.
It's a stingray. I've never gotten. There's like earth, fire,
I would assume that's water.
water cards. Yeah, and then there's spirit cards. I haven't drawn any of those yet though. Okay, stingray. All right, guys, let's see like what the whole fucking. Okay, the stingray. Developing confidence, sense of self, or spine. The Stingray cards represents a pivotal point in personal growth. The moment has come when the Stingray must decide between the old, easy, comfortable, and familiar, and the new, challenging, uncomfortable, and unfamiliar. Pressure from family and friends makes the decision even more complicated. No matter what no matter what choice is made now, it's inevitable that this dilemma will surface again and again as the force of dharma growing within the stingray is too strong to ignore. So essentially it says when this is in balance, someone is eager and wants to grow. When it's out of balance, someone blames others and quits. And to bring into balance, you must move through the discomfort. And if that's not what we've been saying this whole time,
literally,
I don't know what is. Move through the discomfort. That's what you have to do. And yeah, I love that. And this is a really pretty card. There's like a rainbow.
No, it's got like the chakras, which is there's 7 chakras. And there's 7 stages
of grief, bitch.
Yep. It all comes together.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We are going to start an Ask FM on So Wet, So Dry. And because it's an anonymous way to ask questions or share something. So I would love if you guys could all... it'll definitely be posted by the time this episode drops. But if you guys could ask us a question or share something you want to talk about on the podcast, if it's related to anything we've said or if it's not, that would mean a lot to us. And please follow us on Spotify and the YouTube fam. You guys are running this bitch up. You guys are doing great. I love you. Please watch the YouTube version and the video. I promise we will have more in-person ones to come, but we will kind of have a few weeks of remote, it looks like, starting now. But you know, just run it up, subscribe, like us on Instagram and follow on TikTok and everything. I do try to post as much as possible. And, yeah, but every comment you guys leave on like Instagram or DM us, like there's some specific comments that really resonate with us. And I'm really happy that for those of you that are listening and watching that you're liking it. So thank you.
Yes.
And yeah, we love doing this. We're in this journey. We're ready to go. As always, you can email us at So Wet, So Dry. The O's are zeros. And all on every platform. It's So Wet, So Dry. O's are zeros. But yeah.
Yeah.
This is a long episode, guys.
It's a very long episode, but like shout out to everyone who's been listening and watching. Like this is the first episode we've been recording since we've dropped, so it's great
which is really trippy.
Yeah,
because all of the episodes before this one we had not dropped yet.
No, we
like
hadn't.
The So Wet, So Dry wasn't. There was. We just didn't. Yeah,
it was
so
all pre-production stuff. So now we're gonna be releasing on a more regular, like present basis. So if you do have questions or things you want to like let us know or ask about or stories you want to share, like definitely,
or current events you want us to dissect and deep dive. For sure.
Yeah.
We love homework and we would love to do that for you guys.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a good point. It is going to be more current moving forward, which is a little bit scary because, like, for a while, like, in a lot of those episodes, I was still dating that ex-boyfriend I referred to a bunch of times. So it's just very weird and trippy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, but today is literally Easter for us. So, like, if you want to, like, see where we are in real time, like, this is probably going to be dropped, like, 2 weeks or 3.
From now. Yeah.
2 weeks from now. So, and then going forward, it's going to be just, like, that was us that week, and now we're dropping. So, but, yeah. So, thank you guys so much for listening and watching. We love you.
We love you so much.
Yeah.
That's
we
it.
will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
One thing, like, I love is, like, a quiet man. Like, I love a quiet man. Like, if you just sit there or stand there and, like, look sexy and, like, give me eyes, but, like, you're not fucking saying anything, like, let me talk. Like, let me talk and move around and do whatever, but you just look at me, like, that turns me on so much. Because you're building up shit where it's like, I want you.
Right.
You know? Or, like, just say one thing, like, shut up. Shut up.